You're now entering Red Zone with Chairman Rick Scott. Paid for by the NRSC, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. NRSC.org.
Hi, everybody. This is Rick Scott, Senator from Florida, the chair of the National Republican Senatorial Committee. This is our first podcast. It's called NRSC Red Zone because we are in the red zone. We've got just a few months to win the elections in November. This is ours to lose, actually, the way I look at it. If you look at what President Trump had done, he had us in a great position on so many issues. And now President Biden has got us in a horrible position on so many issues. What this podcast is going to do is talk to leaders about, what's going on and get their view. The first podcast, we have somebody that doesn't need an introduction, the 45th President of the United States of America, Donald J. Trump. So, Mr. President, thank you for participating.
Well, thank you very much, Rick.
So let's go into it. We're going to talk about 6 issues. Number one, the economy. Just think, when you were president, cut taxes unbelievably. You've reduced regulations, streamlined the permitting. You got rid of bad trade deals. You had the economy on a roll. Low unemployment when you left office. And now, 1 year later, under Biden, we got high inflation. We've got companies can't find workers. We got ships off the coast of California. We've got empty shelves. So it's just been a horrible year. What would you be doing right now with the issues that are going on?
Well, we did. We had the greatest economy in the history, probably of the world. I don't think there's ever been anything like it. Then we had COVID, and then we built it up again from that point and handed over a very strong thing. Bad things are happening for our country, and what I would be doing is, number one is oil. We're going, and energy generally. We're going on this horrible spree of everything's the environment, and they have no idea what they're doing. And it's a very sad situation because we were energy independent. We had very low gasoline prices, very low heating oil prices, et cetera, et cetera. Natural gas was coming out stronger and stronger. It's clean. And we were doing great both in terms of the environment and in terms of the cost. And now you see what's happening with inflation and with all of the other things that are going on with the economy, including jobs numbers. Because if you compare the jobs numbers today with the jobs numbers that we had during this incredible run that we made, it's not even close. So I think a very, very important thing to do right now is energy, getting the energy costs down, because I think it's a big factor with respect to inflation.
Well, Mr. President, just think about it. When you were president, you had lower unemployment for basically every minority group out there. I mean, what you did.
Right.
So the second issue.
Well, we had the best economy for African Americans, Hispanic Americans, Asian Americans, everybody, women, men, everybody, every category. We were number one in.
Well, let's just go to the second issue you brought up, energy. So you actually did what you said. When you ran, you said you're going to make us as energy independent as you could, and you did. You worked hard at it. And now let's look at what the Biden administration has done. They shut down the Keystone Pipeline. They've just attacked the oil and gas industry constantly. And what do we got? We got high gas prices. Which hurts the poorest families. So again, what would you be doing right now if you were back there trying to solve the problem that Biden created?
Well, I shut down also the Russian pipeline, which he opened up immediately, and you see what that got him, because you look at the mess we're in with Russia today. That would have never happened under our administration. We'd be drilling, we'd be going for oil, we'd be going for everything, whether it's solar. I'm not a big fan of wind because I see what it does to the landscapes. I see what it does to the birds and the environment, and I'm not a big fan. And you could also make the case that when they make them, those big monster windmills, they make them they're all made in Germany and in China. They're all made, most of them are made in China actually, but they're made in Germany and China. And if you're a believer in that, there's a lot of stuff being spewed into the air to make them, a lot more than is saved later on. So I'm not a big fan. But we were energy independent. Now we're going to OPEC. We're going to Russia, Saudi Arabia. We're going to the same cast of characters. And it's a rough situation for this country. And you're never going to be successful if you don't. We were We're very lucky. We have gold under our feet. We have liquid gold right under our feet. Most countries don't have that. We were bigger than Saudi Arabia, bigger than Russia when I left. And we were number one.
And not
I
dependent.
think we would have doubled them up.
And not dependent
and I
on
think
them.
we would have doubled them up.
Yeah,
totally non-dependent, yes.
Right. I mean,
totally.
Yeah, so next let's talk.
You look at New England.
Oh.
They're buying their oil from Russia. Ships coming in from Russia. They're buying it from, and we would have had pipelines. We were getting pipelines. They made it very difficult in New York. Governor Cuomo made it very difficult to have a pipeline built across the state in a very poor section of New York where they would have created jobs and everything else. Unfortunately, that was going to happen. We were going to do it. But now what they're doing is they're reliant on Russia and other countries for oil. And New England and even the East Coast, but New England has the highest prices we have in the country. Pretty sad.
Oh, look at what they've done to the poorest family. They look at heating oil prices now. They're up. So this winter, it's going to be devastating for the poorest families and people on fixed income. So, and you did just the opposite. I mean, you did everything you could to make us energy independent, and you were on the path to do that. So,
well, we had the lowest prices we've ever had, and we were at $1.87 a gallon for gasoline, and now we're hitting $5, $6, and $7.
Yeah.
Pretty incredible.
So let's next talk about national security. Biden, here's the difference. You were known as strong. Nobody went to cross you. Biden's weak. He wants to get back into the horrendous Iran deal that you stopped. He doesn't.
Horrible deal.
Yeah, he doesn't support Israel. You were probably the most pro-Israel president ever. You did the Abraham Accords. You look at what he did with Afghanistan. He said, "Oh, I'm not going to leave any Americans behind." He did. Still, Americans are left behind. It's just a complete debacle with the Afghanistan withdrawal. So what's he thinking, and how did you look at your foreign policy or national security versus the way Biden's doing it?
So I think that the withdrawal from Afghanistan was so bad on so many fronts. Number one, the way it was done, not the fact I brought it down to 2,000 soldiers. I was the one that was going to get out, but we were going to get out with strength and with dignity. I think what happened in that day, in that short period of time where we left Americans behind, many Americans, to this day, many Americans are left behind. Nobody even knows what happened. But you had 13 killed and many, many wounded of our military and other people. Probably 250 people were killed. That wouldn't have taken place. We took our military out first. It was absolutely ridiculous. Then, of course, you had $85 billion with a B, $1 billion worth of equipment, 70,000 trucks, 700,000 machine guns and rifles. One of the most incredible, stupid deals that I've ever heard of. We left everything behind, $85 billion worth. I think that's had a huge negative impact on the Biden administration. The borders are horrible. So many things are horrible. I could just go down. The way he's handled COVID has been horrible. So many things are bad, but this has been
in 1 year
that really hit people.
Yeah, in 1 year.
This all took place in 1 year. I mean, our country is being destroyed in 1 year.
Right, I agree.
Think of it.
So let's talk about another one of your successes, what you did in Latin America and the Hispanic vote. You were tough. You were tough on Maduro. You were tough on the Castro regime. You were tough on dictators in Latin America. You stood up for liberty and freedom in Latin America. Biden's doing nothing. We have about 1,200, 1,300 peaceful protesters in Cuba now, and that Biden won't say anything about it. You remember that rally right before the election? You had, what was it, 40 or 50,000 Hispanics came out in Miami. You won big with the Hispanic vote. I mean, you changed it. And by the way, you were clearly instrumental, if not responsible, for winning 2 Hispanic seats in Miami. So you did an unbelievable job. So what was your approach to Latin America, and why was the Hispanic voter and Hispanics so important to your administration?
Well, you can see love. I love them and they love me, and that's what turned out. And we got historic numbers in Texas and Florida. Miami was incredible, but Florida all over. We did incredibly with Cuban Americans, Cuban people people that want to go back and say hello to their country, but they've been hurt very badly by the Castro regime. And if you remember, Obama went out and really gave them the deal of the century, and I ended that. And then you had Venezuela, which is, that's obvious what's going on there. We did great with the Venezuelan people too. We've been tough. So, it's been a great relationship. They're incredible people, energetic. They have tremendous entrepreneurial skill. If you look at small businesses throughout the country, you have a lot of Hispanics, and they like me and I like them. And, what could be said? But people are writing stories about it. It's a whole different Republican Party now because of it.
Yeah, you did unbelievable. Next up that you brought up a second ago is border security. I mean, you look here. First off, here's what's interesting. You're tough. I mean, you wanted to make sure that we had immigration, but it had to be legal. You believed in building the wall. You believed in security. And what's first thing is people are surprised that Hispanics agreed with you. They want tough enforcement of immigration laws. They want border security. And as you know, Biden's dismantled your policies. I've been down the border a few times. It's just an open border. We had over 100,000 people die of drug overdoses, basically since you left office, because Biden doesn't care. And so, what should Republicans be doing to deal with the border crisis we have right now?
And you said it. He seems not to care. Because at first, when all these people started pouring through, we had record low numbers of people coming in. We'll take people, but they come in. They have to come in legally. We had record numbers of people that are just pouring in illegally into our country. They're not. When you talk about testing and the masks and all of that, they laugh when they mention the words. And by the way, they didn't have to qualify for that. Everybody else in the country did under the Biden administration. No, we fought like hell to win the right to put up the wall. Amazingly, day one, he stopped building the wall, and they're paying contractors a fortune not to go to work, not to finish the wall. Millions and millions of dollars not to finish it. But that and my relationship with Mexico, really, they gave us 28,000 soldiers free of charge, no cost, to stop them while I was building the wall, to stop people from coming in. So we had the lowest numbers in history, and today you have the highest numbers. We had the lowest amount of drugs coming in decades, and now you have the most. I understand it could be 9 times greater than it was. Oh. Drugs are pouring through the border right now. People aren't mentioning it. Drugs right now, fentanyl, drugs right now are pouring through the border. I had it down to a number that nobody had seen in decades.
Yeah,
big stuff.
I think on the fentanyl, the Border Patrol, by the way, the Border Patrol is very appreciative of what you did. Every time I go to the border, the Border Patrol people are very appreciative. But I think they've confiscated in the last 12 months enough fentanyl to kill 2.5 billion people. I think it's something like 2.5 billion people.
Right.
And I mean, so if you like, here's what
much of it comes from China.
Yeah, you cared, and it looks like Biden doesn't care. He doesn't care. He doesn't care about this stuff.
Yep.
So let's talk about something.
It looks like it's not even believable, Rick, but it actually looks like he doesn't care about the drugs that are coming in, and they're killing people by the thousands, by the tens of thousands. So we had the lowest number in decades, and he's now got the highest number that anybody's ever seen. It's crazy. Not only people, not only terrorists are coming in. That whole Afghan, with the planes coming in, 3% of those people, they knew who they were. 3% of those people qualified. You're going to be hearing about the people that didn't qualify. 97% of the people that came out, we didn't know who they were.
Right, that's what
they
they
weren't
did.
vetted. They weren't checked.
No, here's what they told us. They didn't vet these people. They don't know who they are. They haven't talked to them in person. Very few of them were American citizens, and very few of them had special visas. You would never have let that happen. So
it's not even possible. The whole thing should have never happened. You don't take the military out first. They took the military out, and it was just total chaos.
You can't make this stuff up. What they've done.
Nope.
All right, let's talk about that.
Not even believable.
Let's talk about the last issue. I know you're short on time. Crime. You're probably, if not the biggest supporter of law enforcement and the president, but one of the biggest ever. And now, what do we have? We have Democrat mayors, governors, backing with Biden, this whole defund the police movement. We've got crime way up in these Democrat cities and states. And so what would you say to Biden and Dees about this defund the police and they're being so disrespectful to people that make sure we're safe each and every night?
Well, in New York, we just lost a number of great policemen, shot, killed, and throughout the country. And these are murderers. These are horrible murderers. And nothing happens. They go after Republicans. They don't go after anybody else. If you're a murderer, you murder somebody, you kill somebody, they let you out, no cash bail, and all of these things, and it's just killing our country. All Democrat-run cities. We don't have Republican cities like this. All Democrat-run cities. And when I was president, I said, well, the Democrats have to fix that problem. And I would have gone in, but I wanted a period of time to go because otherwise you would have been badly criticized for doing something. They would have said, oh, that's so terrible. The fact is they can't fix the problem. They don't know how to fix the problem. And the only way you're going to fix it is the opposite of what they're doing. Not defund the police, it's defend the police, because the police, they have no defense. They want to take away their pensions. If they look at somebody the wrong way, they want to take away their pensions, destroy their families, and destroy their lives. We have to do the exact opposite. The police can do their job so well, so perfectly. They had for years. And now this philosophy of defund the police. And, Rick, it's not going away. I thought it was going away. It's not. I heard just the other day, 3 cities, they're really into it. Defunding the police. It's not even believable. It's hard, Some things are a little hard to understand and talk about because they're so ridiculous. But this whole thing of defunding our police is so ridiculous that, how do you even debate it? How do you even talk about it? And the American people are on our side. It has to be 90%. The American people are on our side. These are just politicians that have gone crazy.
Right. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, all of us want somebody to show up if somebody is going to do something, harm to us or our family. So it makes no sense what they're doing. But I want to thank you because you cared about the Second Amendment. You cared about law enforcement. Sheriffs, police chiefs I talked to all across the country are very appreciative of what you did and are very disappointed what the Democrats are doing and what Biden is doing, that they don't stand up for them. So, well, thank you for doing this. I know you're busy. Thanks for doing this. I want to thank
you, Rick.
I want to thank you for participating. I want to thank everybody for listening. Anybody listening, please subscribe. This is our first podcast. It's going to help us take back the Senate. It's NRSC Red Zone. If you want to help us, it's text WIN 55404 to help us. This is Rick Scott and the 45th President of the United States of America, Donald J. Trump, signing off. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, Rick. Great job.
Bye-bye.